Hi everyone, Maxine here. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to be doing a collage using 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, one of my favorite supplies to have. And I have a couple here that I'm going to use. These are one-sided, but neither one of these as it is something I would necessarily use, but I think the background of this might be good. This is one that I just finished. Get it all in there. So yeah, I'm going to be doing another one, and I thought, well, why don't I just bring you guys along. Basically, I'm working on a journal that is vintage looking, and it has a lot of florals, pinks and reds mostly in the florals. I think there's a yellow one too, but it's definitely vintage look. The backgrounds are, you know, kind of that tannish light brown color. They're not white. So I wanted to make a masterboard that I could cut down for ephemera for the journal. So let's get going and see where we end up. I like to start out with some larger pieces. Let's get that out of the way. So I hope everyone is having a good day. It has been raining like you would not believe here. I think, well, the major storm that started in the Pacific Northwest and is heading east, I think finally decided to move along and head east. But the last couple days has just been torrential. And I, being a child of the Pacific Northwest, I always enjoyed the rain. I mean, rainy days does not bother me in the least. I find it to be, well, kind of relaxing, really. But unfortunately, the house that we moved into a couple years ago, to my surprise, has got major standing water issues in the crawl space. And I haven't been able to get it fixed. When I bought the house, I had people come out and look and make recommendations on what to do. And I had Crawl Pros come out, and they said, oh, you don't really have a standing water issue. We think we can just clean it up, do re-insulate things, and they do a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. I've used them before when I was on the board of some condominiums. We actually had Crawl Pros come out and redo the crawl spaces under a couple of the buildings because they were in really bad shape, and you know, rodents and animals were getting under under the building, and yeah, it was a mess. And Crawl Pros came in and cleaned all that out, and like I said, they did a fantastic job. But when it come to what's the word, diagnosing the issues here at the house when we bought it, well, I guess they missed the mark, because I had them come out and do their thing, and you know, the crawl space, you know, was nice, pristine, new vapor barrier, new insulation, you know, the duct work was all wrapped nice. Unfortunately, there is a standing water issue, and I spent, you know, I spent all the money I had coming into this house on doing, you know, what they suggested be done, and that cost, you know, it was not cheap. And now that it has been discovered that we have this major standing water issue, well, guess what? I don't have the money for, oh, this should go this way, shouldn't it? I don't have the money for, you know, those kind of repairs now. So I'm not really sure what to do. A local plumber that I like using, he has not been able to get out here to take a look because he's having some kind of medical issues, and I just hope and pray that, you know, he's okay. But you know, I trust him. I don't know who else to call. You know, I'm not too happy with Crawl Pros right now, because, you know, everyone makes mistakes. I'm aware of that, but their mistake cost me a lot of money, and now I don't have the money to actually fix what is actually wrong. That makes sense. So, needless to say, buckets and buckets of rain is not relaxing to me anymore. It's very stressful, because I don't know what's happening under the house, and I just have my suspicions that I've got a lake down there, which is not good. I know that. I don't know. So, and I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know. A sump pump is needed, or French drains. You know, I don't know. I haven't been able to get anyone out here to give me an idea. Like I said, because the plumber I trust has had medical issues, and I don't know who else to call. So, and I just, you know, I don't really have the money now to, you know, for expensive things like that. You know, I did when we first bought the house. The owner, or the seller of the house, you know, when issues were found, you know, I didn't want him having the repairs done, because I wanted to make sure the repairs that were needed were done right. Haha. Surprise, surprise on me. Yeah, repairs were done right. Unfortunately, they're not the repairs that the house, you know, needed. I mean, what was done was not a bad thing. I mean, right? But It wasn't what was needed. Anyway, he gave me a credit so I could have repairs done myself, you know. And there's a lot of other things that needed to be done when we bought the house. I don't know what you know, when I sell a house, it's you know, in really good shape, you know. I you know, keep up maintenance while I'm there. Yeah. And when I sold my condo and the buyer had, you know, home inspection done, you want to know what they found? You want to know what they found? I needed to upgrade the, smoke detector in the bedroom, one of the bedrooms, because it was a older kind, and you know, whoever this home inspector is decided that, you know, that needed to be upgraded. So yeah, and that was it. That was it, you know. Why can't I find a house that, you know, is well maintained and doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff? This house had mold in the attic that had to be remediated. Now I've got, you know, standing water in the crawl space, which I'm sure that's not new, right? It's probably not a new occurrence. It was just never one that was never addressed. I don't know. It's just frustrating. I just feel vulnerable these days because of, you know, my mobility issues. A lot of things, you know, I could get out and do myself if I was still able to. I used to do a lot of things, you know. And now, you know, I can't even get around the house to look at things, to see what's happening, because, you know, my scooter won't go around the house because there's not a way to get, there's not a solid surface to get around the house. I can get out on the back patio and, well, I can't go out the front door at all. I have to go out through the garage because the front door has this very, very high threshold, which is odd to me because these homes were initially built for, you know, over 55. So there's a lot of things about this house that is not accessible, and I just find it odd that something that was specifically built for over 55 to begin with doesn't have more accessibility, you know what I mean? But there's so many things that are just in a very awkward placement, awkward area. It's like, okay, so we have a refrigerator that has water and ice in the door. Yay! You know, I haven't had that since I sold my other house several years ago, before I moved to a condo, which I ended up not liking. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, so I was happy to get a refrigerator again that had that capability of water and ice in the door. I think that's brilliant and I love it, right? unfortunately, it has a filter that needs to be changed every 6 months, according to the bottle. I don't do it every 6 months, but anyway, but you have to shut the water off, you know, to the ice maker and, you know, the water dispenser. You have to shut that water off in order to switch out the filter. Now, switching out the filter is relatively easy. It's easily accessible in the fridge, and, you know, that part is great. What's not so great is the location of where they put the shutoff for the water. It's under the sink, under the kitchen sink, clear in the back. The kitchen sink is on the angle, so it's a very deep, you know, right in there. And so the shutoff is clear back in the back, under the sink. Very difficult place to get to. My sweetie has to get down on the floor, right, and practically crawl under the sink to be able to get to this lever that turns the water off. There's no way I could do it. No way. You know? And I think to myself, why in the world was it put there? Well, the sink being in that corner also makes it very difficult for me to reach the faucet. It's a very deep, large sink, which makes the faucet placement even farther away than what it normally would be. And I would love to change out the sink and have it be maybe more of a rectangle shape and narrower, so the faucet is closer, you know, for reach. But if I did that, it means replacing all the granite. You know, I mean, I'd totally have to redo it. So, yeah, I don't know. People don't, you know, if you don't have those issues, you don't think of these things. And I understand that, you know. I don't fault, you know, anyone for not thinking of that, because why would they? But at the same time, it just makes my life more challenging than what it needed to be. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, when we were looking to buy a house, a couple of times we found a house for sale in the area that we wanted to be, which is where we are now. And we wanted to put a contingency offer. You know, we wanted to offer contingent on our condo selling. And both times the sellers said no. They didn't want to accept a contingent offer. And so it put me in a awkward position, the position I didn't want to be in again, because this happened before when I sold my other house and bought the condo. I didn't want to be in the position of a house selling or the condo selling and me not having a place, having to, you know, scramble to find something. So I did these contingent offers, right? Well, nobody would accept a contingent offer, so my real estate agent says, you know, you're going to have to put your condo on the market That's the only way we're going to be able to do this, is if your condo is already on the market. So I did, and just what I was afraid of. The condo sold, I think it was like 4 days. So these sellers that were so afraid of taking a contingent offer wouldn't have had any issues at all, because, you know, the condo sold right away. So, you know, it wouldn't have been a problem. Well, because we, you know, the condo sold in 4 days, and we had to, suddenly, we didn't have the luxury of looking around and finding something we really liked. We had to, you know, find something, right? We had like a 2-week window to find something and get everything going in order to have a simultaneous close, right? Because we didn't want to have to put things in storage or stay in a hotel for a week or two, or, you know, anything, and all those added expenses. You know, I wanted to have a simultaneous close. So we move out of the one place and move into the, you know, this place on the same day. And in order to do that, of course, we had to get busy. So we found this place. I really liked it at face value. It backs right onto the golf course, which is awesome. We have wonderful views of the sun, you know, the sunsets, which is something I've never had before. So, you know, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of things about this house that I really liked. Unfortunately, when we had the home inspection, they found some things wrong. They found some things that I didn't particularly like. But we were trapped, right? You know, it's like, oh, sure, well, you know, undo this deal and then set off and try and find something else, right? Well, at the time, the houses that we liked in this area had sold, or they were under contract. So I looked, I looked, and of course, Murphy's Law. All these houses that were for sale in here that we liked, suddenly they were gone. You know, they weren't for sale, they already sold, what have you. And so we were stuck with this place. And when I had the home inspection, these things were found that I was not happy about, and the seller was just impossible. You know, wouldn't come down in price hardly at all. He ended up giving me a credit which barely covered what needed to be done. I mean, it didn't cover, not even close to what needed to be done. But I was kind of, you know, between a rock and a hard place at that time. You know, I couldn't say no and walk away because my place had sold. So, you know, it's just, it seems to work out for other people, but, you know, it just never seems to work out right for me. So now I have this, you know, crawl space issue that should have been taken care of by the owner a long time before I bought the house, but wasn't, and could have been taken care of, you know, right after I bought the house, but I was told that wasn't the problem. Or drainage wasn't the problem. So Now I'm stuck with trying to figure it out. So if anybody has any experience with dealing with something like that, has any ideas, let me know, okay? But anyway, so that's my thing. So luckily the rain has stopped. I mean, it's still overcast and cloudy, but we don't have that torrential rain like we've had the last couple days. So I'm very thankful for that. Because, yeah, and you know, like I said, being a child of the Pacific Northwest, I like the rain, or always have anyway. It's just relaxing to me, you know? It just makes me feel calm inside. And I love the sound of rain, you know, hitting the roof and everything. And just really enjoy that. But anyway, I'm covering the back up totally here, aren't I? And I kind of wanted to have some of this pink show because I wanted that pink look to come through. I don't have a whole lot in the way of flowers for some reason. And see, this is just not vintagey enough. This is just not vintagey enough. It has more of a fresh, crisp, you know, fresh look to it, which is great. I mean, I like that too. But right now we're trying to do a journal that has more of a vintagey look, and so I need background colors that, you know, are more like this. Well, maybe that's what will. Looks like I sprayed this. I did. I sprayed this with mica powder. Okay. Well, that one. I know these were intentioned to be something else. Part of ephemera decorating a layered look or something, I know, but I have discovered that, you know, these also work well for other things. I am like the queen of ephemera. Oh, I got so much of it. I'm just drowning in ephemera, really. Oh, that's too big. See, I should have measured that better. There we go. Let's see. Stick that right there. Yeah, I wanted more of that pink showing from the background, but I forgot. I forgot. Let's see here. Putting glue on the back side. I know you can't see me. I'm outside of the camera. Sorry about that, but I don't have a whole lot of space here, and these 12 by 12s take up a lot of room. Oh, I have my glass down. I apologize if you're getting glare back. I don't think you are, but I think the glass is covered up enough that you're not going to get glare. Let's see. Now, I was thinking about maybe some focal points now. This was not laid out well, was it? It'd been nice if they were in straight lines for cutting purposes. But, you know, I can't criticize people that do digitals because I can't do digitals. Don't have the whatever equipment that they use for that. I don't have. I do have, however, some digitals in my shop. The digitals in my shop are all handmade digitals. They're not computer generated because I don't have the capabilities of doing that. So, you know, they're all things that I've handmade, that I've taken a scan of, you know. I do have, that I'm working on still, is a series of watercolors that I've done with the idea in my head that they would be used for journal pages. So you have a page like this, right? And I have concentrated the watercolor on this side and on this side. So when you fold it, you know, you're going to have the design in the right place. So I am working on something like that. So they will all be original watercolors and not digital. It's all, you know, flowers, different kinds of flowers. But it won't be, you know, digital. It'll be watercolors that I've painted. So I'm working on that. I'm having a hard time scanning them to where they look like I want them to. So I don't know. There's a lot to that I don't know. Technology wise, you know, how do people scan things and have them be, you know, the way you want them, you know, once they're scanned. That blue, that would be nice. So yeah, I scanned them in and I thought, golly, they don't look bright and crisp like I like. You know, they just have this dingy look, and the background, even though it's on white watercolor paper, the background on the scans has this kind of gray tinge to it, which I don't like. So I don't know that this idea will ever see the light of day. Depends if I can get scans to work or to look the way I want them to. Because right now, it's not pretty. I don't think it's, you know, they're dull, they're dingy, they have this gray tone to the background, and you know, I just don't like how they're scanning over, so I'm not really sure what the trick is there. How do people that make digitals, well, they don't scan them though, do they? That's right. They're not scanning them. They make them in the computer. So they're not scanning them into the computer. They're already there. So, durr. So, yeah. I don't know. I had that idea a while back, and, you know, I've been doing the watercolors and stuff, and now that it's ready to go, I can't get it to scan very, very nice. So I had a separate little scanner that I used, and maybe I need to use the scanner that's on my printer. Maybe that will produce a better image. So I'll have to give that a try. All these things take time, you know, and I want to spend my time doing this. Now I have these. They're metal pieces that I did some distressing to. And then I, you know, laid them on the scanner and scanned them in. I was thinking about adding it to one of the digital kits that I have on Etsy, you know, as just, you know, an extra sheet of embellishments. But I didn't, because, well, I wasn't sure if that's all right or not, you know. I mean, they're metal objects that I didn't make. So, yeah, I wasn't sure about if that's okay or not. So I didn't do it. So, but I'm really glad that we sold the condo and got this house when we did, because my arthritis in my knees has gotten worse, and I just don't know how I would have coped at the condo, you know, parking and getting, you know, to where my unit was, and that kind of thing. I don't know how I would have done that now. Back then, it wasn't a problem, even though, you know, I was starting to have issues with the arthritis in my knees. I was still able to walk with a cane and could get to and from my car from the condo, but now there's no way I could. So yeah, I'm very glad I made the decision to move when we did. Not that I knew this was coming, because I did not know the arthritis in my knees was going to get so much worse than what it was. So I'm glad for that anyway. Okay, well, that's all right, huh? I like that. Well, that turned out really well. I do like that. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's cool. It looks good. Actually looks like that metal piece is sitting there, doesn't it? Okay. I think we're good. I think that's a good stopping point. And now it's a matter of cutting it down into shapes, and then maybe putting in a focal point, or you know, doing something more to them, you know, once they're cut down into smaller pieces. I think that would be good. But yeah, I think one more piece here. Is there a place for it? I wonder. Kind of like to get the edges, you know, the corners and the sides. I like to, you know, just make sure that they're clean and not a bunch of ends that don't quite come to the side and whatever. So we're going to put that right there and cover up both those corners, and then come back and just trim it down. You know, ugh, that's sticky. My glue book. I need to change the page of my glue book. Okay, guys. I think that's it for now. I think that's going to go well in my journal. The one I'm making, well, if it doesn't go in the one I'm making now, it'll go good in some, right? But yeah, I'm going to cut this down into journaling card shapes or tags, or maybe little tuck spots, pockets, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, and thanks for listening to my little issues there. It's nice to get it out and talk about it. You know, sometimes it helps you process, you know, what you need to do just by saying it out loud sometimes. But yeah, if you guys have any you know, experience with that kind of thing and have any advice, I'll be happy to hear it. Anyway, until the next time, please like and subscribe if you haven't, and join me in this junk journal journey. And I'll see you next time. Bye.